Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. And for you new people, subscribe. It's free and we appreciate it, okay? Anyway, today we're working on the A La Carte. I finally found a motor that'll work on it. Now, I originally was planning on doing weed eater motors, but I gotta be honest, they just didn't work. They don't have enough torque. And even with a couple of them, you might have the horsepower to run down the street, but you really don't have enough torque to get the thing rolling. And with two of them, it tore up the clutches. So it just wasn't worth it. I just gave up on that and said, okay, let's go straight to chainsaw. Everybody wants to see a chainsaw anyway, so you got it. I found this little chainsaw, and when I bought it, this is what I got. Here, let me get you a little closer. We'll turn the lights on. This is what I got. This is the whole package. And you can see it's got a broken cover. It's only a 35cc chainsaw. But then when I looked at it close, I said, ooh, looking at the dirt and the expected wear spots, I realized, yeah, this thing's actually pretty new. And I went and looked it up, and the model is a pretty new model. Doesn't look like it's got much time on it. And it's got just a ton of compression. And so it'll never be a chainsaw again. And so it's the perfect victim for the go-kart. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull the clutch off. Now, I already loosened this, the little E-clip, just to make life easy for me. Pull that off. And if you look, the clutch is obviously 50% or 80% bigger than it is on a weed eater. And this is a whole lot more durable. And look at the inside of the clutch on this. This thing looks like it doesn't have any time on it at all. There's barely a groove on it. And this looks good, and it's got a whole lot more spring than the weed eaters had. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld a sprocket to this. We're going to take into account that we have to get our little clip back on. We don't necessarily need this ring as a chain retainer, but we do need the little clip to hold this all together. So we'll pull this off. We're going to weld something on it. I'm not going to worry about how it bolts onto to the A La Carte, because it's only going to be there long enough to run it up and down the street a few times. And if we haven't blown the motor up, I'll be surprised. I have every intention of this being the sacrificial lamb in the whole thing. If it comes back whole, I'll be unhappy with myself. Now, one of the things I did run into is this, as opposed to a regular motor, turns backwards. This turns this way. Let's hold it up to the cart and show you the problem. Elevator drop. Doink. Ugh. So if we take a look at this, this motor turns this way, and this motor turns this way. So if you hold it up here, it turns backwards. If you put it here, it turns the right direction, but it would be sticking out over the tire. And even though this is a temporary project, that's just not mechanically sound. And it would look stupid. And looking stupid is just enough. So what we're going to do, and I had to think about this a whole lot to figure out a plan for this, is we're going to have to use, let me lower you down some. Let's carry you around for a minute. So we're going to have to use this jack shaft to run it anyway, because we're going to need this bigger gear. And that's what's going to gear it down, and it'll allow us to use the RPMs rather than pure power in this. This right now is running just gear to gear, and that's just pure power. So it's overpowering the wheel, and that's the reason it'll go 30 or 40 miles an hour. This doesn't have the oomph to do that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull the motor off and then pull this jack shaft out. And then we're going to try to switch this big gear over to this side. That way we can mount this inboard here. So let's get started. Job one is to get the old motor out of the way. So let's do this. There you go. There's our accelerator cable. Now, there's just not a whole lot to taking a motor out of one of these. Let me pick her up real quick. Ugh. There we go. Now you sit over here, and I'll get to work unbolting. There's one. Don't want to lose those bolts. Probably not going to use them on the chainsaw, but I'm going to need them when we put this back on. There's two. Okay, where's number 3? Did I get number 3? Yeah, I got number 3. And here's number 4. And that's about it. That's all it takes to get the old motor out of the way. Let's grab her and put her off to the side. Oh. I almost forgot one important thing. The chain. Let's unchain her real quick. There we go. Okay. And now we can get a good look at our problem. This is going to be problem number 1. So let's take her to the bench. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move this gear over to this side. I've got my 2 gears here. I'll keep this one here, and this will drive the wheel. I'll move this one to this side and run the chainsaw off of this gear. And it's necessary because this will gear it up a little bit so that the chainsaw can work more on RPM than it does on torque. Now I can see if I put this here, it's going to bang into this pretty big. So I went to Go Power Sports in Keller, Texas, and got a really long axle. I wanted one an inch shorter than this, but this was what they had in stock at the moment. And I got a bunch of spacers because I'm not sure exactly where this is going to sit when I mount the chainsaw, and I can cut these down with the grinder. So let's pull this apart and see what we can do. Oh, that end came off. Okay, fair enough. Let's get them loosened up here. Yeah. Actually, it's a lot looser than I thought it was going to be. Usually gears like this are just stuck to no end. Okay, save the spacer. Rah. And there we go. And I need the bearing and the washers and everything. Whoops. Ah, come on, buddy. So we get that lined up and pound that bad boy out. Yeah. There we go. There's something fun about using the gear to pound the bearing out. Got that. We're going to hang on to this because we're going to go back to the Predator motor soon enough. Let's have a look at our new axle. Our new axle is giantly long. But I got this little spacer because that'll make up for this. So let's think about this for a second. We need this bad boy on the new axle set. That way we won't squeeze the bearings together. Okay, where were we before we were so rudely interrupted by reality? And there is something just completely obscenely fun about putting it together in a way that the original engineers never thought about. I decided I want this gear to go this way. The key's hanging on. Can we get it to slide in? Oh, no, that's okay. Blink it, blink it, blink. Clouds make it a lot more uncoordinated, but it's currently 7:30 in the morning, and I don't want to start my day out trying to get grease off my hands from 7:30 in the morning on. Okay, let's put our second spacer on. Get on there, second spacer. There we go. Very nice. And there we go. Let's see what we think. Let's hold her up to the go-kart and see how she looks. That is a whole lot better. Perfect. So our carrier will sit right about here. And that's all good. Now I can put shims in the wheel and carry it in and out to get the alignment perfect with the tire itself. And now our motor will sit right about here. And I need to figure out how to tear this down because I need to keep the pull starter or come up with something different. So we'll see you next time and we'll get that figured out.